tried to make it into something the three of us were really proud of, and you know, Mom and I come from Heartland, and that's sort of a multi-generational family show, and we just saw this beautiful idea of Marley's that she'd been carrying around for, oh my gosh, since what, university? Is that true? And just knew we could make it into a world of Port Haven with all these amazing characters and this beautiful multi-generational family of hurt and heart, as beautiful Chyler said up there tonight. It is a house of heart, but hurt, and I think that we all kind of know what that feels like a lot of the time with our families. So that was sort of where we kind of picked it up.
Yeah, and I just have to add that when we saw the idea, it resonated so much as mother and daughter, and my own mom, I know, would love to have seen this tonight. And it was just representative of so many strong women and their tenacity, I suppose. And you go through so much with family, not just the women in the family, but everybody involved. And I think that at this time that we've been through for the past 3 years, and it really is a time to reconnect. And family became so important. And you realized during that time when we couldn't see each other and couldn't be together, just how important it was. So that was also an impetus for this, even though that happened literally right after we started really developing this. It just hit the heart even more. So for us, this was a dream to work together. It was a dream as co-showrunners. We'd not done that before. We'd written for the same shows many times, but this was really something. And thank you, Marley.
Andie, Chyler, Evan, and Sadie, how did you guys first hear about the show and what drew you into it?
I think I was first. I heard about it first, but I read the script, and I loved. I was thinking about how I really like to be Dell minus the pain. I loved the farm. I loved the bees. I loved the fact that she cared about her community and she had these kids working for her. But then when I got to the part where Alice goes back in time, I don't know, it blew my mind. It was so beautiful. And I had lunch with Lisa Hamilton Daly and told her how much I loved it. And fortunately, they felt that I would be a good Dell. And I was pleasantly surprised that everybody agreed that I would be a great Dell. And then this lovely cast came on board. This beautiful, beautiful cast came on board, and I got to be a part of something that is truly, truly special.
I'll break it down really real. Well, I had gotten a call from my manager, Joni Burstein. She's right there, and I love her so much. And she had talked to me about this project, and she mentioned, that it's a Hallmark show, and I was like, okay. Only because it's kind of one of those things where sometimes you go, okay, how are they going to do something different? And that's kind of like what I'm looking for as an actress, like for something different. And I started to read it. She goes, no, you absolutely have to read this. And I said, okay, I trust her. And so I started reading it, and I mean, I don't even know how far I got into it, not very far. And I was like, whoa, this is different. Like this, it still has that heartbeat, the Hallmark heartbeat, absolutely 100%. But it has something I felt even deeper, even a little bit more like raw and real, and I could read these characters and I could see them, and I could just say, oh my gosh, like I can find something in each and every one of these characters that I can relate to, very specifically Kat. And I just knew that everybody that was working on this was so passionate, and I had a conversation with Alex and Heather, and knowing that it was a mother-daughter team, it was like, okay, this is unreal. Like, this is something that I think once people have the opportunity to experience and people have the opportunity to just meet these characters and hear this story and kind of in some ways sort of stretch a little bit outside of the Hallmark comfort zone, I think, and get ready for something that has the mystery, has the heart. You know, we've all been kind of saying it's like time travel, but it's not sci-fi, it's like mystery and intrigue, and it's just this incredible opportunity. Like, you know, Marley said that if you were able to go back in time, you know, and you could change things or even just get that perspective of what your life could have looked like had everybody maybe made a different decision, would you do it? And I just think that it brought such a wonderful opportunity for us to tell a whole different incredible story. And as Andie said, we have such a brilliant team, and everybody had so much fun, and we were ridiculous and, you know, unprofessional and laughing hysterically and trying to keep a straight. I was. But we loved it, absolutely loved it.
I got a call when I was at my cottage in Canada with my family, and there's very little bandwidth, and I got a similar email saying you must read the script. You just don't worry about anything, just read the script. And as soon as I did, I realized I wanted to read for it, and I had to use natural light because I was at the cottage, and so I had time in the day left to get 2 takes off. So I'm glad that one of them was passable, and I felt like there was from the very beginning a sense of synchronicity with this project, as far even down to the timing of Hallmark at this point in time deciding to do some storytelling that is going from the gut a little bit more than it ever has, and as in a world that is starting to open back up after mutual trauma, a time when people are looking for storytelling that they can watch with their families, that they can watch with their children, with their parents, and nobody's going to be embarrassed, and nobody's going to be traumatized, but they're still going to be hopefully learning about themselves and about the family. And so I was thrilled to be brought on part of the team, and as soon as I heard that Andie MacDowell and Chyler Leigh were part of it, I was like, I'm in, just tell me where I sign.
Yeah, you know, it was self-tape after self-tape after self-tape. This is all very new to me, so. But it was, you know, as it all came together and it started seeming like this might really, really happen, and finding out that, yeah, it was going to be Andie and Chyler who were playing my mom and my grandmother. It not only the connection to Alice became so obvious as to why I'd, you know, gotten so far and so close to the role itself, but just that the opportunity for us to work together and to tell this particular story. And yeah, I feel like, you know, hindsight is 20/20, but I think the minute that I was reading these scenes, I knew that Alice and I were not too far apart. So it's been just incredible.
Can we give it up for Sadie? Yeah. She just
So with our 3 showrunners, I'm curious, how do you work together? How do you divide it? What's it like working with a mother-daughter duo, Marley? What with our mother-daughter duo? What are the advantages? What are the disadvantages?
Marley, watch what you say. I should say these 2 beautiful women are the showrunners. I was the incredibly green development executive who pitched an idea, and
It's an amazing
these are the
story.
showrunners.
No, it's an incredible story, and I think, you know, it deserves to be celebrated because, yes, Marley was a super green executive pitching something, and it was the best idea. It was just this most incredible idea, and Lisa knew it and championed it, and then we got this incredible call from Neshama, from Andie, saying, hey, you know, we're kind of looking for some showrunners to flesh this out and make it into a show, and what would you and your mom think about it? And I mean, that to us, we've always dreamt of working as partners. You know, it's been 6 years of you being boss and me being writer, and it's been great.
I will always be the boss of you.
There's a few times during the season. But no,
I have to say, it has been an amazing experience because it has proven to me, oh, I'm not going to cry. Just the person next to me is so talented, and I watched her grow from the person who kind of helped me write when she was 14. Did a Flash Boy, I remember that you had all your experience to add to a 14-year-old show. But anyway, it's been a minor miracle that we're still talking. But this has been such a ride. I can't even begin to tell you. And I thank everyone who is behind letting us do it, because this has been a dream. And I thought I had a dream show before, but this one is fantastic.
And the other amazing thing I think is that we were, as a trio, you were so gracious and you were so incredible to let us come on board and help you build this idea into this, and we can't thank you enough. And it was an amazing collaboration of the three of us, and then our other writers within our writers' room. It was a dream. Everyone really did just get along and play nice in the sandbox. And I think, it shows. I think, we all brought some pretty raw experiences to the room, and it really was a circle of trust and a circle of equalness, and I'm just very grateful for that.
Absolutely.
Piggybacking off of that a bit, one of the major takeaways for me as a viewer is just the importance of female relationships, and that was something that really struck a chord for me, whether it's mothers, daughters, friends. So I'd love to hear from all of you guys if there were any women in your lives who you kind of drew inspiration from in creating these characters, or even just like women in the world, if they're not a part of your immediate circle.
Well, I'll start off. My own mother was an incredible feminist, and so I grew up with a brother and me, and there was no end to the opportunities that they thought I was not capable of. There was never any question that I would do whatever I wanted to do and do it as well as I could. But my mother-in-law was also, believe it or not, I had a fabulous mother-in-law, and she was one of the generation where she wasn't allowed to do exactly what she was capable of and wanted to do, and her brothers got the opportunities and she didn't, and she drummed it into me from the time I met her in my early 20s that, no, go for it, just go for it. And those are the two women in my life. My daughter inspires me as well, for sure.
I paid her to say that. No, and vice versa, obviously. I mean, I think, of course, so much of what's on the screen is the mother-daughter relationship that we have. I mean, especially the 99 part. The fact that their house is filled with love and music, that was a huge part of my upbringing as well. So that's sort of where I gleaned some inspiration from.
I have to say, when the idea first started, I was Alice. Like, that was the character that I was envisioning, and over 10, 15 years of marinating the idea, I think I became Cat. So, I'm sure there's layers of my mom and grandmother, and maybe now my daughter, and I don't know, but yeah, that was the crazy part for me was,
For me, Dale was a woman of the earth, and my mother's family was a real farm family, and I have another friend that was that I thought of when I was creating her, who is grew up on Orange Grove Farms in Florida, but it was sort of like this woman of the earth. That's what I kept thinking of her as. And of course, we only got the first couple of scripts, so I had no idea what was happening. So I was evolving. I was creating her as we went along, because there was so much to discover for myself. I was figuring out who is Dale. But as far as understanding her loneliness, I have a I have a really deep understanding of loneliness. I didn't have to go out and search for it. It was something that I have lived, I know firsthand. And so that for me, I tried to keep that with her, because I felt like it was something that was really important as far as not having my daughter in my life. I just kept thinking about that. What would that be like? I just took all my loneliness, my understanding of that pain of not knowing my granddaughter, of the things that I had experienced in my life, and I fed on those and kept those with me as she was developed. I was really clinging to what that would be and who that would, how Dell would be created because of those experiences, those very difficult experiences. Not only losing her son, but losing everything, really. She lost everything. Except for Elliot. It should definitely end up with my daughter. And if I was... You see them, the smile behind them.
No, I can't stand him. It's a terrible idea. I kind of, in a sense, mirror, Heather, what you had said about that the strong woman in your life. My strong woman in my life is actually my mother-in-law as well, which again, not many people get to say, so I'm very grateful for that. And she's just, she and I have a ton of similarities, and she's come through a tremendous amount in her life, and as have I, and so we have a lot in common in that sense. And you know, when I say that this experience, when you see Kat say that this writing the book could be cathartic and it could be something to help really get through, myself playing Kat is very cathartic, because I have so many similarities. Family is a very, can be a very sore subject for me from my past. I mean, just, you know, being estranged from my mother 19 plus years, married. My husband, met him when I was 16, turning 17. I have myself a 16-year-old daughter. I know how hard relationships can be. And I know the strength of finding your family again, whether that's who you were born with or who you choose. And so that being said, you know, I'm incredibly grateful to my mother-in-law, because we grew up. I met her when I was 17, so I've grown up with her. And she was a version of a mother that I desperately needed. And now, you know, I get to pass on to my two girls, 13, 16. And I'm so grateful because they'll be able to watch this, and we'll all be sitting down, my son, my husband, my daughters, and, you know, be able to see this together and really see, like, hey, you know, everybody's story is different, but it's all from the same vein, and it's just, you know, we're cut from the same cloth. And that importance of finding those pillars in your life that you can count on, and the people that you can grow from and grow with, it's just, it's priceless. So I'm incredibly grateful for that. And you, Miss McDowell, who I admire tremendously. I've learned so much from you, and I love you dearly.
Speaking of strong women, you can kind of see demographically here, gender-wise, sort of what the balance is. And so that's something I knew coming onto this project, that I would be in a sort of in a supporting role, supporting these strong women. And I, honestly, like, it's my pleasure and my privilege to be part of this, and it be part of the story that is being so like propelled from the heart space, which I think is something that is a particularly feminine quality outside of gender. It's a feminine quality, and well, I totally blanked on everything I was going to say after that. So I grew up on the street. I grew up on the street with my mom and my sister in a house, and my grandmother down the street, and my great grandmother further down the street. And so I was intimately aware of the voltage, both spoken and unspoken, that can exist. So I feel like I brought a little bit of that, and mostly just every every woman I was in love with when I was young and desperately, hopelessly romantic and never got. So I'm just putting all of that into camera.